Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Alex ditches Theresa to celebrate his windfall with Kristen, and John and Marlena get the upper hand on Konstantin as Theresa and Alex enjoy breakfast in their apartment. Alex gets a call from Justin. He learns probate's been completed. Upon hanging up, he lets out a slow breath. Victor's estate is further than he imagined, thus, so is his Theresa excitedly gets up to clinch him. We going to be set for life, you going to be set for life. Brady comes to the Demera manse to pick up Rachel for academy. As they stay for their son to get dressed, Kristen muses about allowing Brady further time to spend with her. Brady makes it clear he wouldn't reunite with her in exchange for that. After Kristen needles him about not being in Victor's will, Brady makes it clear he'll still make child support payments and accept her visit terms because she'll squinch up like she always does. Also, he'll recapture guardianship of his son. Further, Maggie eventually sees the verity about Konstantin. John opens his townhouse door to Steve. Steve comes to John and Marlena's townhouse upon Marlena's assignation. She thinks it's time they let Steve in on their plan. John bristles, allowing they've everything under control. Marlena points out Konstantin is dangerous, and John needs backup. The pressure between them is exactly what Con wants. Steve vows to do whatever it takes to make up for what he did to John. At their apartment, Alex wonders what he'll do with his fortune, besides buying a manse, a yacht, a private airplane, and tickets to external space. He has many ideas, but first, he wants to celebrate with caviar and champagne, sparkling cider for her. He kisses her before he heads out. Alone, Theresa directly smiles as she says they're going to do a lot further than drink bubbly to celebrate. Announcement: further Jordan Ridgway lesson at the Karaki's manse. Maggie states she has further plutocrat than she needs. Thus, she'll contribute the bulk of her heritage to good causes. Konstantin tenses, but calls it veritably generous. Since Victor left them out of his will, Maggie wants to also partake the wealth with Beau, Philip, Xander, and Justin. Maggie, no! Konstantin shouts, startling her. Xander accuses Konstantin of wanting the plutocrat for himself, but Konstantin points out he inked a prenup. He just wants Maggie to give it a lot of study. Maggie states that she has, long before Victor failed. Xander tells Konstantin it's none of his business. He's just a Johnny-come-recently whom Maggie is marrying to help out. Sarah tries to rein Xander in, but he wouldn't be quiet. Maggie would also like explanation. Konstantin says he loves Maggie's big heart and respects her plan to contribute her fortune. He apologizes for overpassing. Maggie is gentled. Further, AMC and Hallmark prepares to set passage. Konstantin leaves for a walk and Maggie takes a fussy Victoria to the theater. Alone, Sarah tells Xander she was thrown by Konstantin's response, too. Xander calls him a dangerous conman that indeed a prenup wouldn't stop. At the townhouse, John explains to Steve that Konstantin turned him into the pawn by using the same card Megan used to brainwash them. He didn't flash back anything until it happened in the Black Patch office. After Marlena intruded them, they realized an agitated John lost time. She guided him through relaxation ways and took him back to being in his office with Konstantin. He flashed back the card made him lose control and that Konstantin wanted him to steal the prenup. They knew it could be again, so they began preparing John to repel the power of the card. John recalls that when Konstantin again ordered him to steal the prenup, Konstantin set it on fire. Further, Steve Burton's ready to open up. Alex saunters into the Kiriaki's manse and starts kissing Kristen in front of Brady. Brady rolls his eyes and leaves to stay for Rachel in the auto. Kristen is impressed by Alex's performance, but he says he was acting. Still, the reason he came in is for one of Demera's stylish bottles of champagne. Still, he'd now rather celebrate his forthcoming payday with her. They renew making out. Theresa waits for Alex's return with stupefied champagne flutes and an unbuttoned shirt. She textbooks him to see what's taking so long. Brady comes by and tells her about the show Alex and Kristen just put on in front of him. Theresa deduces they re-sleeping together. Brady couldn't watch less, but Theresa thinks breaking up with Alex was the biggest mistake of her life. She meanly looks at Brady and says, "One of the biggest anyway." Announcement further Shark Tank counter-reaction for celebrity rivals. Brady asks if she's in love with Alex. She's not sure she indeed knows what being in love means. He says it means you feel like you can't live without the other person. They lock eyes. She shifts and averts her aspect. Also yeah, she's in love with him. Kind of, anyway. He chuckles, pointing out Alex's plutocrat isn't seductive point. They hear banging on the door. Theresa opens it to Konstantin, who barges in. He gapes upon seeing Brady and says he needs Theresa's advice on a marriage present for Maggie. What? Brady exclaims. After recycling their engagement, Brady leaves. Konstantin urgently tells Theresa of Maggie's charitable plans for her plutocrat. Thus, he needs his cut of her access to Alex's heritage. She's not sure that's going to be. He tells her it more or differently there will be consequences. At the Kiriaki's manse, Sarah wants her and Xander to concentrate on how lucky they're to have each other and their little girl. They call each other the loves of their lives and kiss. When Maggie returns with Victoria, Sarah and Xander ask what happens after the marriage. Will Konstantin get a job, or will he just live off her ever? In bed, a shirtless Alex leans against the headboard with Kristen. Covers are pulled up to Kristen's casket as her bare arms trim around him. Further Salem's coming power couple? After coitus in Kristen's room, Alex says despite this being a ruse to make Brady and Theresa jealous, he's completely enjoying the lift. She is, too, but it can't go any farther because Brady is the father of her child and the love of her life. As for Alex, he cares about Theresa, but it doesn't stop him from succumbing to Kristen's numerous charms. After further coitus, Alex checks his phone and sees Theresa's dispatches. He notes he should presumably get back to her, but looks Kristen over. He'll just tell her he got stuck in business on his way to chancing the finest champagne and caviar. Further coitus ensues. Announcement at the townhouse, John produces the original prenup. The one Konstantin burned was a fake. He broke into the safe before that evening and switched them out. Steve's impressed, but John and Marlena worry about having to tell Maggie of Konstantin's true intentions. Knowing Maggie, Steve says, that bastard wouldn't know what hit him. With Marlena by his side in their living room, John hands Steve a train. Please note that if you buy commodity by clicking on a link within this story, we may admit a small commission of the trade. Theresa reacts, Victor's will is probated, Konstantin controls John. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, May 7th indicate that Kristen Dimmer's, Stacey Hayduke, plan is getting to Theresa Donovan, Emily O'Brien, but not Brady Black, Eric Martsolf. Victor Kiriaki's, John Aniston, will has eventually been probated. Konstantin Meliuni's, John Capello's, has John Black, Drake Hodgson, under his control. Theresa Donovan goes crazy over Kristen Dimmer's plan. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that Kristen's plan is driving Theresa insane, but she wants this response from Brady. This all started out as a mock relationship. Still, Alex suggested that he and Kristen make it real. The idea was for Rachel Black, Finley Rose Slater, to catch them in bed together and run to Brady. Still, effects didn't work out like Kristen allowed. Rachel decided to forge her mama's hand on her field trip authorization slip and was gone by the time Kristen and Alex got up. Kristen may want Brady to reply to this, but it doesn't bother her at all that Theresa knows as well. After all, Kristen hates Theresa, so hurting her is a pleasure. DOL spoilers. Maggie Kiriakis has awful news. Maggie thinks she has awful news when she announces that Victor's will is eventually through probate. Maggie thinks she handled everything by getting the prenup inked by Konstantin.